Hello, Professor. My name is Angel Haro, and then let's jump right into the first part. And I did the first part of the prompt using hash map. I never done any hash map. This is my first time, so I was exploring the web, trying to figure out how to go about it because I could have done the array to remove the duplicate, but I don't know. I just found hash map really like I don't know fascinating, and then I saw that on the web that there was a lot of interview questions related to hash maps. So I was like, might as well get comfortable with it, get a gist of it. But before we get into the code, let's go ahead and just make sure that it's running. Then let's do it again, and then let's do it one more time. Okay. And then since I was learning how to use hashmap, there was like examples like how to find duplicates in an array. Because I was getting comfortable with this, so I decided to leave that code that I was learning in here. And what I'm basically trying to say is that okay, so we gave the user, we did six. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then basically what this is implying is that there was a duplicate number of 7 in our hash map table. But the thing is, there's no duplicate because we have we have our like little method or little for loop to remove the repetitive number. But if it wasn't for this piece of code, we would have had like I don't know 0, 1, 7, 2, 4, 7. But I don't know. I just felt like it was neat, so I decided to leave this implementation just to know that what would have been the number that was repetitive. Okay, so getting into it, it's fairly straightforward. Scanner. And then enter your array size, and then we're gonna use our int array, which is our user input, and then we're gonna do int brackets. I don't know if this is brackets. I don't know what this is called. A rate of integers, and then new int, and then our capacity is our array size, which is our user input, and then this piece of code took me a long time to figure out because I don't know. I don't know. I was leaving it, I believe, without a parentheses or something like that, and I kept having like it just was running, but I was getting 0, 0, 0s, and it had to do something with my parentheses. I think I had to do parentheses and then parentheses like that, to remove that issue that I was having. Okay, so this is basically the implementation of the random numbers into our array loop, depending on the size that the user inputs. And then so jumping into it, so I did a method to find the duplicates because that's what I was learning first. And then I was gonna do another method to implement this, but I was like, might as well just leave it in the same method if that makes sense because I mean it worked out and it works out neat. Okay, so basically we did map integer to integer and then the hash map. I was gonna just leave HM, but I don't really like the way that looked. So and then we're gonna do for int and then temp is our temporary. um, it's gonna go, it's an enhanced for loop. So this is basically saying if it's not in our hash map that contains temp, we're gonna go ahead and place it into our grid. And then on allocation one, from what I was understanding correctly. Then else, if the hash map has the temp already, like it already registered one of the integers as being in our grid, we're gonna know like this is the duplicate. And then also I was trying to figure out because I read in the internet that you use hash map remove to remove the duplicate number, but that was not correct because this is the way I ended up doing it at the end. But I was just playing around with it, trying to figure out what can I do to fix it. Then I learned that if you were to do this in this line, this would just throw it would just throw repetitive numbers, which was weird. I don't know why, but I was just exploring it. And then this is our implementation for the duplicates that we see here. And then it's basically saying if hash map get is greater than 1, so or if it's already on our grid, that means that it's a duplicate because there should only be one. But if it's more than one, it's basically saying it's a duplicate, so automatically it gets spat out over here. Hopefully that makes sense. And then this is the implementation for the removal of a repetitive number. It's fairly straightforward. If hashmap get param array of our index is greater than 1, that means we're gonna have to remove it from this thing that's gonna be generated, and then it's just a repetitive, the same thing, and then we're just gonna keep it going, and that's basically it for this implementation. I don't know. I just really like this one because I learned about hash maps, which is really cool. And then I was looking at like interview questions for that, and I was like, this looks really complicated but really useful at the same time. And then for our array code, yeah, this is our final code. Okay, so these are the websites that I use for the source help. This one has a lot of stars, so that means this is the one that helped me the most for the whole code, basically. Okay, so I wasn't really comfortable with 2D arrays because I didn't really understand the rows and the columns, but now it makes sense because the first one's the rows and then the second one is the columns. Um, and then for what's I forgot the term when you do two for loops in one. But usually it's known as the first one is always I, and then the J is the second one, or it could be K. And then I put this to get the hang of it that our first box is gonna be our rows, which is vertical. I mean, yeah, vertical going down, and then J is our columns going like to the right horizontally. And then this would be J. Um, and then we basically did this. We're gonna loop the rows. We're gonna loop the columns, and then we're gonna be generating. I was having a lot of issues because I was trying to use the code from the last program to generate random numbers, but it's a dove one. I was trying to cast it into an integer, but it wasn't working out. And then I found out you can just use random, and then the random generator of dot next int, and then our bounds. I put 10. Oh, I haven't even ran it. Because it looks neat, but I'm gonna put 100 right now. So we're gonna do 3 by 3 just so that I could explain that it's working. So it's gonna go like this: 6 1 4 6 8 6 2 8, and that's basically how it's gonna be here. Because sometimes if you get a single digit, it just looks weird. But let's bump it back to 100, how it's supposed to be in the prompt. And like you see, that's what I mean. Like if there's single digits, it looks all weird. So that's why I just left it as 10, just so that it could look nice and neat. Just let me do it like that. And then if we want, we could do like this, and it's gonna go like that. Mm-hmm. And then let's do it. Let's do the inverse now. Let's do 5 and then 2. Oh no, the other way around. 2 and then 5. And then you see. And then okay, let's bump the bounds back to 100. And then let's do a 10 by 10. And then that's basically showing that it works. I don't know. I had a lot of fun working with this one, with this assignment. Feel like I learned a lot. Um, okay, so um, anyways, the hardest part of everything, because all the implementation of the code was super quick for this one. It was just all this. They took forever trying to figure out how to make it go like the tornado thingy, like that. And that was just the hardest part of everything. Everything else was really easy to implement. And then let's do let's do this. Okay, so and on to the implementation. For other code, it's basically just I is our rows, and then we're gonna loop our columns. And then that's what we're printing here. That's how we're gonna print all this because of this for loop. And then onto the implementation of this, which is the hardest part. It's basically while top is smaller or equal to the bottom, and left is smaller or equal to the right, we're gonna loop all this. And then basically this is gonna be moving from left to right with all this code. And then else if we're gonna move from top to bottom with this code. And then else if we're gonna move from right to left with this code. From where is it? From here. And then else we're gonna go from bottom to up. So that's how we get that little swirl thing. Um, but yeah, this is basically the whole code. This one was really I think this one was really fun to work with because I got really comfortable with 2D arrays. And now I understand everything how it's the columns and the rows. But yeah, this was a fairly straightforward program, but I found the first one to be more challenging. But it was fun overall because of the hash map. But yeah, that's everything.